So this whole time, I thought that she told on me.
We had a deal go bad and my ex threw a knife at your car, but it sounded like a gunshot, so she thought I shot at her car. Over $60.
Yeah, so.
What's up, you guys? I'm here with Jamie Ballard.
How's it going?
You don't know this person yet, but I have a lot of stories that I'm going to share. And today we're gonna do your story, which is insane.
Absolutely insane.
I kind of want to start with why we didn't like each other. Just start with the drama, like straight off the top of the head. So there was drama between us. We've known each other for a really long time.
Really long time.
15 years? Longer?
Longer.
Longer than that?
Longer than.
Because you knew me when I was a kid. Like
when you were a kid.
Yeah.
The first memory I have of you to like directly think of is, I came from Rome. My brother and my sister-in-law know your mom, and she lived at Circle Drive apartment, Deer Park.
Yeah.
And we had a long road trip, and they were like, go ask her, you know, that was her friend. And I said, could I use your bathroom? And she was like, did you shower today? And I was like, well, yeah. And that was the only reason she let me use the bathroom, is because I had showered that day. It was a very strange thing. I was like 12.
Mom, I can't, why? So I must have been like a baby.
You were little.
Like 2, maybe? 3?
Maybe. Yeah, you were definitely like a toddler for sure.
Yeah, the cutest toddler ever.
She was cute. Big head.
Shut up. I grew into the head. It's proportional, I think.
Yes.
So years go by and I start trashing around.
Me too. Running around the streets of Sydney.
Yeah.
And I think it really honestly first started when you guys were hiding at my house in Masonville.
Maybe.
And Misty didn't like you. She was like threatened, I think.
Her ex-girlfriend.
Ex-wife.
Ex-wife.
She felt some type of way, you know, because you were a pretty girl and you were at the house. And
I'm straight as fuck. Who would choose to be? I mean, men are disgusting.
I mean, I'm kind of fucking pretty, so I understand. Yeah, you guys had so much, and she like made you leave. And we got to a fight because, I mean, we lived out in the middle of no place. Like, I don't even remember what happened. Like, I know that she had asked you to leave, but I don't remember anything after that.
You don't ask the dude to leave. The dude should stay, you know, because I had a lot of product.
Right.
So it was dumb, but looking back now, I could probably understand where she was coming from.
Yeah, maybe, I guess.
I get it.
It was silly. Either way, I felt horribly bad. I mean, it was in the middle of the night, for one.
Middle of nowhere.
Like coyotes and shit. Like, just crazy nonsense.
A coyote did not get me. I survived.
Yeah, that was a crazy night. It continued after that too. How long did Robbie wait to come get you?
I don't know. So just to clue everyone in, I sold dope and I had a couple of runners, and you guys have met Robbie. He was one of them, and he had to come pick me up, and I don't even remember her kicking me out. I was so out of my mind.
I'm not sure if she actually, I can't remember if she actually made you leave or if you like stepped outside and then Robbie came. I don't remember. I really don't remember the whole thing. It's a possibility. I remember her being mad at you and being like freaking out, and then we got to an argument because I was like, dude, what are you doing? Like, why, it's the middle of the night, why would you do that to her?
The dude.
So then, I mean, maybe a year or so, I guess.
Time is distorted when you're using dope.
No, it was in the same place because that's where my crime happened. I lived there still. And so I was sick one day and Randy needed some stuff, and well, I needed some stuff, and I decided I was gonna take his money and get dope. And
my money.
It was all crazy. We both ended up at dude's house that had. And I was trying to get out of the car. She was trying to keep me in the car. Randy was trying to get in the car but keep me in the car. It made no sense. And so he punched me, but the side, like the top angle of the door went into my eye. And I remember Anthony's mom being very upset and was like, I can't believe you hit a girl. You don't ever hit a girl, even if it's, you know, whatever. So she made him leave, and I still had to wait for dope.
Let's back up a little bit and talk about where your addiction started.
My addiction started really long time ago. Actually right over here in this shed. my parents' garage. This is where I grew up. I was huffing gas with like a 10-year-old that was like 12. But he came from even more like lower income family. So he had seen more than I had seen. So I started there, and then I started smoking pot when I was like, 12, 13. I didn't really get into hard drugs for a while. I drank a lot. I did, coke once in a while. But when I was about 25, 26, that's when I met my I knew my ex-wife most of my life, but when we got together, she did pills. And I didn't really do pills. I drank and I smoked. But we started, crushing up Vicodin and sniffing it, and from there, the races came. I was at one of my other, so that went on for a few months, partying and doing pills or whatever. So we were at my friend's house, and they had dope, and so they were like, well, you can get this for whatever, and so we shared a half a bag, and it was done after that. Like, it took me 20 minutes to get from Bainbridge to Sydney, because I was, and that is like the only time I remember ever nodding out.
Yeah.
Like, I was not a nodder. It did not matter how much I did. I was cleaning the house. Like, I guess I just never understood people that, like, got all, like, down and, like, didn't take care of themselves, because it was definitely, like, as soon as I, sniffed my stuff, I was good for the day, and that went on for a few months, I guess. I definitely never thought that I would ever touch needles. I definitely didn't think that I would ever be an active IV user. And then one day, we didn't really have a lot. She said, well, if you guys do this, you'll be able to get off, and it will cost you a lot less. So we banged for the first time. And life was like good. Like, I had a good life. Like, I worked, we had a place, we had a car. We had animals that we took care of. And then it slowly depleted everything out of my life. It started, like, losing my job from not showing up, because I had to hustle to get enough money, and my job was just taking too long. I didn't have a week to wait for stuff. So I started getting rid of some stuff. I sold for a little while, and then I was just a very active IV user, and I started pushing my family away. I got into, like, petty crimes, like, fighting and stealing stuff, which is crazy, because I don't have any drug charges.
That's weird.
None.
All of mine are drugs.
Never. I never had a drug charge, which is just astonishing to me, because I always had drugs. So things just started to go very fast. It didn't seem like it was. It seemed normal. It seemed normal to have to, like, people with coffee. I had to wake up and I had to bang my first bag or two of the day, and then, life started. And then everything started to, like, fall away. I never had enough for anything. You just never had enough.
It's interesting that you compared it to coffee. I think people in active addiction, it is so normal to us. It is normal. You wake up and you just can't be sick. What are you gonna do? Be sick all day and be in pain? No, you're gonna get high. It's as normal. It was as normal to us back then as it is for me to have coffee in the morning.
Absolutely.
And I didn't know any other way.
I didn't think about anything else, and it's exactly how my life is. I wake up, I rub my eyes, I stumble into the kitchen, put some coffee in the Keurig, and it was wipe off your eyes, stumble to the kitchen, get your spoon and your needle, and even just the mixing and pulling was...
You were addicted to that?
Yeah, absolutely. I love stirring shit up.
I've never had someone say that in an interview, but I was the same way. I was addicted to every component of it too.
Absolutely.
Getting the bags. Oh my God, and it was a sickness the whole way through.
Absolutely.
Not even just using, scoring it, hustling to get the money, then scoring it, then getting the bags and getting them home, and the whole ritual of it. I know that might be triggering, but that was such a huge part of my life that I thought it was who I was.
Absolutely.
It's just the...
And I do apologize for anybody that is triggered by that. It really does make your heart go a little bit faster, right?
Mm-hmm.
Which is very scary. I would never want to put myself in that position again. And unfortunately, I did again after I came home. We'll talk about that afterwards. I was hustling, and my dude that I got from owed his dude stuff, and so Ballard had to come to the rescue. I went into Kmart, I stole everything black. I said, boy, let's go. And so like we're hiding in the bushes, and we're, you know, got our mask on. And
This is your first crime?
this is my first crime.
Felony crime.
Well,
Kinda.
all right, so there was a crime before that, but it wasn't because of addiction. It was just
Okay.
because I was a little shit. Probably because I smoked weed and drank and hung out with the people that I did. And it was dude, you know, the first guy, function guy.
So animated.
Sorry, I can't help it.
No, I love it. You're a natural for this.
So I said, we're gonna do whatever we gotta do to make him all right, because his guy was going to shoot him in the face in front of his kids. Now this man, I seen people owe him money, and he would make somebody's girl blow his dudes to make up for the money that they owe. Like it was like that. So I had no thought that it wouldn't happen any other way than that. Like I really thought my friend was going to die.
So you're thinking, if I can get this debt wiped out, then the girl's gonna be safe, this guy's not gonna get shot, and
We got suited and booted.
suited and booted.
Suited and booted. And so we go in the store, and so we get up there, but he goes to pull his gun out of his hoodie pocket, and it goes flying across the floor. I'm like, oh my God, what is going on? So run and grab the gun, try to act like fucking thugs again,
Like
you
that
know?
didn't just happen.
We got this, everything's under control. So we're at the like cubicle, you know, it's like a little bank teller swoop thing. So we're like, give us your money, blah, blah, blah. And I generally felt bad, like maybe not at that moment. I probably didn't have much remorse. I didn't really care about anything than saving my friend. In my mind, I knew I wasn't gonna hurt anybody. So them being sad and scared, I was like, you know, it's gonna be all right, because I'm not going to hurt them.
You're not physically going to hurt anybody.
Correct. So, but he sets his gun down in the little swoop that you put money under and stuff
This
to
is
hand
your
customers.
It's your accomplice?
Yes. So I'm like, dude, what are you doing? So, and then he gets ready to walk away, and the girl is like, wait, don't you guys want this? I'm like, absolutely. We know that there's another drawer. So we're like, give us the other stuff. And they were like, well, we don't know what you're talking about, blah, blah, blah. So it's taking too long. So I'm like, let's go. I got this garbage bag full of money. I'm running. Bam! Right into the door that is not opening.
I'm sorry, is there video surveillance of this?
It was a perfect crime. There was
Damn
no
it.
surveillance. There was no evidence. Our physical descriptions were two males in their early 20s, like 6 feet tall. I lie. I'm like 5'5".
Yeah, we're the same height.
So we get out. Now I'm running, go over this creek and through the woods to, you know, grandmother's house we go. But he's too fat to make it. So I'm waiting, and he's like in the field, like. So I'm like, bro, what are you doing? Like, come on. So now I'm in my car, and of course I got the money, right? So I'm like, I should take some.
I'm leaving you.
This is my car. I made it to the car. So of course I took a couple stacks, stuffed it under my seat. Duh. So then we go, but I didn't have gas. So that's how I ended up getting in trouble, because we stopped in this gas station in Afton so I could get gas. And you could see on his pants and my pants that there was water. So they knew that whoever. But that didn't come into play for months, like 10 months. So, you know, he got saved. Nobody was gonna die. We got until the next day. And then I'm just like, what are we doing? Like, what did I just do?
Yeah.
Like, I just stuck a gun in some little girl's face. And that image stays with me every day. And I'm not gonna say names, but I hope that you know that I am truly sorry. Any triggers that you have, any post-traumatic stress. Like, I really do apologize to you. I can't imagine somebody putting a gun in my child's face. And I'm just very sorry for that. So I told my wife, I said, either we get clean or I'm gonna have to leave you. I never wanted to be in that position again where everything was so bad that I had to take from somebody else. And you know, mess with somebody else's life that has to, you know, it had to have left some type of emotional scarring. And I'm truly sorry for that. It's very heartbreaking to think. So, you know, it started to get hot. The cops came to my house because he had work. But I was like, my girl and his girl, I said, you guys are gonna be on Facebook pinging off these towers. She's him. So when the cops tried to look at our cell phone data, we're nowheres around the crime scene.
It's good.
Right? So he had just like 2 months before that got caught at Walmart for stealing a video game. So they're like, oh.
Your accomplice is not a very good criminal.
No, he's not. They come to my house and they're like, do you think that blah, blah, blah could have done this? And I just started laughing. I'm like, you think this guy just got away with an armed robbery? He just got fucking caught stealing Grand Theft Auto. He's gonna have to play a little more before he gets to hang. So.
It's not funny.
So they were like, all right.
Seems fair.
Point proven. So they left. It didn't bother me again. And then that's when I was like, my life needs to change. I went to Florida. Things were kind of get hot. So I told her, I said, either you come with me or we're gonna have to separate. I cannot do this drug life anymore.
Yeah.
So we went to Florida. We were doing good, staying clean, which now is like some of the best memories of my life because Mikey lived in Florida, who I went and stayed with. So I have some good, more recent memory of him.
Just to refresh your memory, I filmed a video about my friend, Michael Schimmelhorn, who passed away in the New York Department of Corrections. This is Mikey's aunt. So, you know.
He's with me every day.
Are these his ashes?
Yes.
Stop.
He's with me all the time. So I'm in Florida. I'm doing good. I'm not gonna lie. We had some morphine and stuff like that. But we ate pills once in a while. You know how it is with addiction. You slowly go back. One day I'm chilling out front and all of a sudden this guy is like, well, who are you? And he was in plain clothes. We lived in a gated community, so I thought he was one of like the shack dudes, like making rounds. And I tell him who I am, and he's acting like I'm lying to him. And in Florida, they have these little handheld things that you put your fingerprints on, and automatically it tells them who you are.
What?
Like some advanced, crazy nonsense.
It's a good thing we retired from that lifestyle.
I'm out front of the house. There's helicopters. There's marshals. There's all these people. Now, New York hasn't actually put my warrant in the system yet. So they're holding me without even having a warrant for me. So I ended up going to Martin County Prison in Florida. And I was held there for a couple weeks.
So they want to extradite you from Florida back to New York for the robbery.
For the robbery. So I come back to New York, go through the process. They didn't indict me fast enough on my charges, so I got out on, they call it habeas corpus. So I was released. I came home to this house, actually. It was a horrible time. My parents had just gone through the second flood. I just found out that my dad had cancer. And now, mind you, now I'm freshly clean, so everything is raw. I remember being at my parents' house, they're in bed, my ex-wife had to be at work, and I just was bawling. Like just begging God, please just change everything. I feel like he's like your parent. Well, you love them, so you give them so many chances and so many chances. Well, finally he was like, you need a timeout. So he plopped my ass in Albion for 5 years. And it was crazy. Went back to court to be sentenced. And Judge Sullivan, I don't know if you know him, he looked at me and he was like, Miss Ballard, I have never seen somebody transform so much within the little time that you've been in our system for this charge. He said, I really honestly believe with everything in me that you're going to change, that this is going to be it for you. And I really hope somehow he sees this. I wrote to somebody on Facebook. I'm not sure if it's the right one. I never heard back. But I want you to know that you changed my life. Somebody as hard as you having faith in me you really touched me, and I still think about that today, that somebody actually believed in me when I was at my lowest. They gave us our furloughs. I was home for 2 weeks. I got to spend time with my family. The day that I had to be back to be sentenced, I said to him, I don't want to say goodbye to my wife and my ex-wife and my parents in handcuffs in a jumpsuit. And he said, Miss Ballard, I'm going to adjourn this. You are sentenced to 5 years in state prison. You have 5 hours to turn yourself in.
Wow.
He let me, after I'm sentenced, the DA was like, what are you doing?
That doesn't happen.
Like, you understand, she's sentenced. Like, she could just leave and be gone and it wouldn't matter. Like, she would come back and she would still get 5 years. And he said, I have no doubt that she will be here to turn herself in. And so I got 5 extra hours with my family. And I want to go back from that. Okay, so around my birthday. Okay, so it's in January. It's cold. My best friend, she had just had her baby. Now, mind you, she wants me to see her baby, but she's fucking with the girl that snitched on me. So I'm like, blah, blah, blah. And she's like, wait, what happened? She didn't realize what she did. So she went and slapped her up, called me and was like, come see my baby. You were my best friend. So I'm tired. You know, when you sit in county jail and you come out, you're so tired constantly. The whole time I'm like, I'm sentenced. Like, at that point, I was out on my furlough. So I wasn't, back. I wasn't like at my sentencing yet. And I just go get high.
Yeah.
Like, what's gonna happen? Just go get high. It's whatever. Something just kept telling me, like, Jamie, that's not what you want to do. That's not who you are anymore. So I go to my friend's house, and her driveway is long. It's up this long slanted hill. I get out. She's like, smoke a cigarette with me. It's the middle of winter. I'm like, dude, I just want to go sit down and see your freaking baby. And all of a sudden, I see this big flash of light, right? So I call 911, and the lady's like, what's your emergency? And I'm like, I don't know.
I don't know.
And then all of a sudden, I see this minivan go over this embankment. I throw the phone at my ex, and I'm running down the hill. And all you hear is these babies screaming. It is horrible. It's a sound that I've never heard. I never want to hear it again. Now, mind you, it's in the middle of January. There's brush and there's hill and there's this power line that's on top of the van, and the mom is slumped over the steering wheel. She is knocked out, KO'd.
Oh my God.
They hit so hard that the kids were out of their seats. The little girl's shoe flew off. The little boy's face is blood is just pouring out of this kid's face. Lady on the line, she's like, don't touch the van. I know that. They don't know that. They hit so hard that the door on their minivan was flung open. So I tell the little boy, I'm like, jump to me, baby. So I get him. And I take my shirt off. I got a wife beater on. I'm holding it to his face. I give him to her. The little girl, I get her to jump to me. I got her little foot in my pocket because it's wintertime. The neighbor finally comes over, and we're trying to get the mom to come too. Now, we finally get her out of the vehicle. She's standing in the road like, oh my God. Like, she's so stunned that she's not even anything.
Yeah.
Like, she is so in shock that she just wouldn't speak. She wouldn't say anything. So then the fire department and the EMS and the cops show up. Now, I got this little baby with my shirt held to his face. I've got this little girl with her foot in my pocket because she's only got one shoe on. And the little boy, it was his birthday. And he looks at me and he's like, I'm scared. And I said, I'm scared too, buddy. I'm real scared right now. So I hand them over to the EMS, and I just remember the state trooper looking at me. He's like, Ballard, aren't you supposed to be in prison?
Like, I just got kids out of this car. I just helped them. I just probably saved their lives.
And it was never a thank you. And that's not what I'm looking for. Absolutely not. But it was a little discouraging to have somebody that's supposed to save people's lives just be like, go to prison, you're garbage.
I think that's an important piece of your story because the kindness that the judge showed to you was so rare. You're used to cops calling you by your last name, asking you what you have on you, being shitty to you, you know, and you've been in the system a few times and you're just used to that. So
used to it.
So when people are nice here and there, that makes a lasting impression.
It really does. And when I say that, judge, I think about that all the time. Like, we'll be sitting at home and, you know, something will happen and I'll just look around and I'll just see how blessed I really am. And, you know, I'll be playing with my kids or something and it's just like, I'll think about that. Like, somebody really honestly believed in me. Like, somebody knew that I was going to come home and I wasn't going to be who I was.
It takes one person, just one person, to show someone like us a little bit of human decency, and that's going to stick with us forever. And that's why I fight so hard for prison reform. It matters. You know, I've experienced a lot of crazy shit, as you know. So I'm so glad that Sullivan gave you just 5 hours. It's just 5 hours. It's something that's so small, but you'll never forget that.
Absolutely. And it's just a very, very kind and generous man. I mean, it's his job to sentence you and you're a criminal. But he didn't treat me like a criminal. He treated me like a human that had made a mistake.
Yeah.
I had an addiction. My mental health was all messed up from things through my life leading up to my addiction. And it's insane how much one person's words can just change your whole entire life.
I will say that, like, no matter what drama was going on between us or people that we were dating, I knew that you'd give me the shirt off your back if I asked you for it.
And what's funny is I really wasn't upset with you. I was upset with him because I ripped him off. And you know, it's just a cycle. It just goes through that. And it wasn't my animosity. It was her animosity that I had to hold down because we were together. Mm-hmm. But I've always liked you. I've never really disliked you. I just had to pretend to.
So how long have you been working a path of recovery?
Since 2011.
That's a long time. That's a really long time. When's your sober day?
November 28th.
So mine's in October. So
that's cool.
That's awesome. 9
Must
years.
Be like a recovery time.
Recovery time.
What's crazy is I went through detox once. I've only been to any type of rehab for 4 days out of my whole addiction. So the girl that I spoke to was actually this girl that was friends with this other girl. Let's call her BG. We stole my dad's van and drove to Binghamton. And we all got high. We were like, I don't even know if I was old enough to drive. I was like, yeah, probably like 15, 16. And so this girl that I randomly met through this other person and we got high and we had this crazy night was the person that was doing my intake. She was
counselor?
Like a counselor type thing, yeah.
At rehab? Years later?
Yes, like years later. I like 20 years later. It was insane. I'm like, wait, I know you. And she's like, oh my God. So that was crazy and random, but yeah, no, I've only spent four days in any type of rehab or detox, and I pretended to be one of the counselors on the phone so I could get a Suboxone doctor so I could leave and go home. It's been a crazy ride. It's been absolutely insane. There's been setbacks, you know, things get rough and, you know, there's just times that you don't want to feel anything, so you slip up, but if you want it, I mean, you can absolutely do it. And anybody, you can find me on Facebook, Jamie Lee Beth Ballard. I will help anybody. If you need somebody to talk to and you don't want to talk to somebody from a hotline that seems like a robot, reach out to me. If I don't answer, she will. My girl answer my phone in the middle of the night for anybody. She'll talk to you.
She's behind the camera.
And I'm like so happy. Like, I'm so glad that this is the person that you are, dude. It's like, it's amazing to see what such a desolate town actually like has. Mm-hmm. Like, we all came from such
nothing. Literally nothing.
And I don't mean that. And like, my dad was an amazing provider. My home life was normal for the most part. You know, I had my mom and my dad and whatever. But my mom had 7 kids.
It's a lot of babies.
So when she was 18, she met my dad. They got married they had my brother, and then just 6 more after that. So my mom, she kind of was like, wanted to do her own thing for a while, you know, which was cool because then I got to like have that hang out with my mom type stuff, you know. But so for the most part, when I say that I came from nothing, I mean like the people around me,
The town.
we had nothing to do. We had a basketball court and a pool.
Oh, I can shoot some free throws.
Me too, absolutely.
That's all we could
Listen
do.
to Bow Wow.
Oh my God.
Yeah, right here on this street, me and my little brother. Oh yeah. So yeah, from 2011, I've tried since then to be a better person. Like I said, my crime was very overwhelming. When I got sober and I thought about what I did, it was just very awakening. And then the accident.
So was the accident when you were on furlough?
Yes.
Not when you were sentenced in the 5 hours. Okay.
It was when I was home for my furlough. And I just feel like that was God saying, like, you had this choice to get high, or you had this choice to go to this place where in 20 minutes later somebody would absolutely have needed you.
That's crazy.
And I mean that is my testimony. That is God reaching out to me. Like I said, your child gets in trouble, you give them chance after, and then you just set them in timeout. And God was like, you need to sit down, bitch, because you're gonna die.
I'm pretty sure he said bitch. That's what he said.
Probably. So I did. I sat down, and prison is crazy. It's hard. I went through a lot while I was there. I dealt with a lot. I'm an AG, an aggressor, or whatever they want to call us. So some male COs really did not like that. Did not like that you had a pretty girlfriend that wasn't playing in their face. Most girls in prison, they're playing in CO's face so they can get their way, so they can get what they want. So I had a lot of people that didn't understand. I have short hair.
So how many times have you been to prison?
I've been to prison once, but I've been to county several times. I don't even know how many times. I've done weekends. I've done 3 months, 6 months, 9 months.
And then you did just under 5 in Albion.
Right under 5 because I lost some of my good time because of a fight. So I did like 4 years and 8 months, something like that.
Close enough.
So, and I just got off parole in January 7th. I did 5 years of parole. My parole officer said that I'm the only person that they've ever pulled through that hasn't had one violation. I didn't have a single violation for 5 years.
That's uncharacteristic of you.
Very much so.
In the best way possible.
And not that there wasn't instances where I probably should have gotten into trouble. It's just that I didn't get into trouble so much that when I did, it was kind of like, go back the way you were going.
Right. It's difficult to get sober, live a different life in this area.
It really is.
You're going to see a lot of the same people.
And that's, I owe most of my sobriety to my change of address. I moved away from Sydney and Bainbridge. I moved to Rome. I moved out, and me and my nieces and my great nieces and nephews, they are what constantly saved me. There's many times I wanted to give up, that I didn't think I was doing things right. It took forever to get a job sometimes, because of history. Well, my family is what saved me, absolutely. Change of environment. Rome, I didn't really know anybody. I tried not to make any friends, honestly, because you make friends, you can make connections. And unfortunately, those type of people come to me. It's like a magnet. They're just like drawn. We went out one or two times I went to the bar, and I got up on the bar and I sung I'm Every Woman.
No,
and this big, huge dude that got rid of drugs was like, So, and then the next day I'm like, I'm not who I was last night, so I do not want friends. I apologize if I gave you that.
I was awful friendly last night.
Yes.
I changed my mind.
Absolutely. And now, moving away from that area too, and having children, my kids save me every day. Anytime anything happens, I always think about my family. And I get married in September.
I'm gonna crash it. So, before I kick you off the channel and make you start your own channel, I want to talk about the reason why we didn't talk for 10 years, which is really just some straight up
Crap.
bullshit. You lead the way. I talk to them all the time.
So, it was my understanding that around the time that I was extradited from Florida to Bainbridge, that Jess and somebody else had told on me. They were the part of the reason why I was being arrested, why I got caught for my perfect crime. Now, mind you, the only reason I went to prison was because of testimony. It was only because of witness testimony that I got caught. They literally had nothing else. But totally, like, I know that, you know, I see your loyalty. I know that you would probably sit in prison for a very long time before you said something about somebody.
Which I've done before.
So I definitely apologize about that. It was probably more of people wanting to take the pressure off them and make me believe that it was somebody else because it was them.
But my name was never in paperwork.
Ever, never.
And someone else stood up in court and pointed you out.
Correct.
I was nowhere.
And I have my discovery. There was a trillion statements, and I never once seen your name. A cop or a detective never once mentioned your name.
Mm-hmm.
So
that's what sucks. Like, I knew that I didn't snitch, but I didn't want to bother you. I didn't want to, you know, bring up drama or stir up old shit, so I just never added you on Facebook. And a few times I saw you commenting on mutual friends or whatever, and I'm like, oh, damn. I would really like to reach out to her, but I didn't want to just cause drama. And
right.
I remember one time I was back here visiting, I saw you, and I just got in my car and left because you're the only person I don't want to fight.
Like here in Sydney, you see me?
Yes. This was like 4 years ago or something.
Oh, so it must have been when I just came home. I was even scared to come to Sydney from Cambridge.
I left, and I ducked out. I'm like, that's Ballard, I'm just gonna go, because I'll lose. I don't want to fight you. Oh. I know you don't want to fight me, but it would just be all bad. I can defend myself to the other people that hate me here. I don't want to fight you.
No, I wouldn't do that to you.
Well, I didn't know, and we hadn't talked for 10 years.
Yeah, it was a long time, and I really did hold a lot of animosity.
I understand completely why you would. I think the last time that I saw you, we had a deal go bad, and my ex threw a knife at your car, but it sounded like a gunshot, so she thought I shot at her car. Over $60.
Yeah, so...
She's like, this bitch just shot at the car.
And then my fiance was watching your channel, and I was like, what are you doing? This girl tried to tell on me. She tried to get me in trouble.
Yeah.
And then everybody else was like, no, she didn't say anything at all. And then my nephew died, and
yeah,
you just swooped right in and became a lifesaver, honestly. Like, I can't thank you enough. I can't thank your fans enough
me at all.
For everybody that donated and made it possible for me to give my nephew some type of respectable services. And now I can't imagine, like, not talking to you. And
I know, same. I can't believe it's been 10 years, and it took losing Mikey to talk to you. Well, we're gonna end that here. My battery's dying. I'm surprised it's lasted this long. But Jamie's gonna start her own channel. I'm gonna force her to. She's a natural. Leave her some kind words in the comment section down below, and leave her some questions too, so she can kind of go through and see what y'all want to know, so she can start her own YouTube career.
Nice.
Thank you guys so much for watching. As always, stay safe, stay sober, whatever that looks like to you, and I will see y'all in my next one. Yeah.
So I think that's what it is.
It's gonna bother me the entire time. This is 3. The editor's gonna hate me. Is that right? October 22nd. No. Is it? Oh fuck, it's 9 years. There's a fucking train, dude.
I got people's dead body parts inside of me and shit.
What does that mean?
I came home.
There's a fucking train. We have to wait.
Of course there is.
God damn it.